Hi there, my name is John Stevens. I'm pastor of Zion Lutheran Church in Oregon City, Oregon, and we are part of the ELCA. And welcome to Dollar Store Children's Sermons, where I take a look at the lectionary texts and a time to an item from the Dollar Tree or the junk drawer or the the kids' room or the garage. I started to say both of them at the same time. Yeah, thank you for spending a little bit of your week with me in this way, and thank you for the love that you are sharing with your kids and your congregations and your families. You are rocking it, my friend. Thank you. This is for the 15th Sunday after Pentecost, and we are looking at the gospel lesson and also the second reading out of James. So the gospel reading, I had to look back, and this was pre-COVID, the one that I was like, look, it came up, and I was like, I like that. But it's interesting how things change how we view the world. COVID did that, as you know, and I'm not telling you anything you don't know. But 2018, I used hand sanitizer as the object, as the springboard, because of course the text about washing hands, about what makes us clean, we clean our hands, and the springboard or the direction I'm going is in the same vein of the hand sanitizer, but this time we can lift this up and we can go, has anyone ever seen one of these? And everyone is going to go, I know exactly what that is. What do we use it for? We clean our hands. And when you wash your hands, how do you wash your hands? Some people say the Lord's Prayer when they wash their hands because that gives them 20 to 30 seconds to wash their hands. Some people sing Happy Birthday. There's finding things to do when we wash our hands, and that makes that clean. But we hear in the text, as much as we make the hands clean, it's actually what comes out of us that that determines cleanliness or not, because it's how we it's our actions that speak loudly. And so the idea that when we have confession and forgiveness, and this is that tie-in, when we have confession and we hear the words of forgiveness, we know and we trust that God is working in our hearts, that we say, you know what, the things that have come out of my mouth this last week have not always been edifying or building another person up. And when we have confession, and in our tradition, we have a brief order of confession and forgiveness at the very beginning of worship, and it sets the tone as we come. And I love it because it's really a corporal. It's the congregational's confession. We as people of God, this is how we have done things, and we have left things undone, and that's it's a powerful thing. So tying this idea of hand sanitizer, when Araya, my kid, they are now 19. When they were 2 or 3, they used to call it Hanitizer. So hand sanitizer, but they called it, can I have some Hanitizer? So that's in my head, and I love that. It warms my heart to think of it. So when we take the Hanitizer and we say, what do we use this for? And it moves into the direction of we clean our hands, God cleans our hearts. So that's the direction I'm going there. Now, James, the whole idea of us stepping out, that we say things and we profess our faith, and James says, okay, it's time to put that faith into action. The Irish, so I'm told, the Irish have a saying, if you're going to pray for potatoes, you better do it with a hoe in your hand. This Sunday is the one, it's a week before the ELCA's day of service, which is God's work, our hands. That's our way of saying, if you pray for potatoes, you better do it with a hoe in your hand. God asks us, and we get to be part of God's mission. So all of that about connecting with James, which is all about putting faith into action. So there's that. Then in this reading, there is a moment of pause that that really catches my attention, and I want to pull up. I won't pull it up now, but in there's a point of pause, and I can't remember the exact text in Sunday's reading, but it's in the James that we read on Sunday, and there's a point of there's we talk about in speaking, and there's the pregnant pause, that pause where we wait a little bit, wait longer than normal. And there is power in waiting. There's a power in before we respond, to take a moment and then respond. And there's points where in worship, you can tell that if you take a moment between the announcing of the prayers and having the prayers of the people, and in between each prayer, you give space for the Spirit, you can tell, you can feel it, you can feel the shift and how that rolls out. And so maybe in that connecting the James text to our worship, or even how we respond, that sometimes we talk about, like, let's say I get mad at my brother, and before I respond, I take a moment. Before I respond, I take a breath. Before I respond, I reflect. And that moves me into a better spot of how to respond. So there's the James text. Take a look at the James text, and you'll see how I'm connecting that. But there's so many connections in here about how we respond to the call that God gives us, and how we trust that God is cleaning our hearts, and then we move out in faithful service. All right, so lots of stuff. I'm hoping some of this can be useful in your own children's sermon. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the love that you're sharing with your kids and your congregations and your families. You are rocking it. All right, we'll see you next week. Peace.